everyone, welcome to this update video. I really do hope that you're doing amazing today, and we're going to be talking about what is currently going on across the North Atlantic, and the focus is going to be on the Caribbean because there is a trough that persists in the region, and you can almost distinctively see that little flare in terms of that convection within the vicinity of Central America. And over the next couple of days, there's going to be quite a bit of rainfall. There's going to be that enhanced risk of flooding as well. So we're going to get straight into the details. And it's officially been the end of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. So the season has officially ended yesterday. And happy December, by the way. Happy holidays. It is time for the festive season. And definitely not the time when you want to be thinking about any tropical cyclone activity. Fortunately, that is not being hinted at by any of the models in terms of seeing anything, maybe in a week or two, not seeing any signs of that. And typically in December, there is a very limited chances for development to take place because the environment gets pretty hostile. However, that does not mean that there is no threat in terms of the weather because, hey, we're starting off December with this flood threat for Central America. So let's get straight into the details, after which we'll do a little recap of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. Alright, so yes, we're taking a look at the infrared satellite imagery. We can see all that convection out there associated with the frontal system. And then in the Caribbean, we can see that flare up. Also for parts of Northern South America, there's been some afternoon showers and thunderstorms popping up in some areas as well. A bit of moisture coming into the southeastern Caribbean. And at a closer view of the Caribbean region, here we can see all of this activity. And where we see those white dots, that is indicating the lightning strike. So there's a lot of rain moving to parts of Central America. For the Bay Islands of Honduras, eastern Honduras itself, eastern Nicaragua, it's been quite wet today. Let me know what's been going on, if there's been any instances of flooding. And as I had mentioned, this is going to be a little bit persistent. So as you're going to be heading throughout the rest of today, throughout tomorrow as well, this is a look at the rainfall forecast from the Euro. The more color we see indicates more rainfall activity. So we can see that it gets very much colorful towards Central America, parts of Guatemala, the Bay Islands, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, the islands of San Andres and Providencia as well. Very colorful there. Maybe rainfall amounts in excess of 4 inches or more. So there's likely to be a lot of heavy rainfall, and that is going to be triggering flooding, guys. So please stay safe. Do not take any unnecessary risks if you're being affected. Other areas may experience some additional showers between now and Tuesday, such as the Cayman Islands, parts of Jamaica, especially in the afternoon with those afternoon thunderstorms developing. And even for parts of Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Hispaniola, headed towards Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and through parts of the Lesser Antilles as well. It may get a little bit active, maybe some periods of occasional heavy downpours as well. The daytime heating definitely assists with the afternoon shower and thunderstorm activity within the vicinity of the Guyanas. So that's Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. Also for parts of Venezuela and Colombia. And for the ABC Islands, couple showers will be around. The area is not generally active in terms of rainfall though. But that is essentially what is going on. And even as we look at the surface chart, that broken orange line is representative of that surface trough, which has been in the region. It's been helping out to feel the rainfall. In parts of Jamaica, for example, there's been days and days of rain, and that has shifted further west towards Central America, where that rainfall threat now is. So again, guys, please stay safe and do not take any unnecessary risks. But aside from that, there isn't anything major in the Caribbean at this time. And in terms of the hurricane season, as I said, it has officially concluded. This is a look at the tracks of all the tropical cyclones that formed this year. So tropical cyclones, that includes tropical depressions, storms, hurricanes, majors as well. Now, the season was initially expected to be a very active one. Most of the agencies were predicting over 20 or more named storms. And we slightly fell under that, thankfully. We got 18 named storms this year. The last system that developed was Sarah. So 3 names remained on the list, and it was not officially, fully exhausted or anything like that. In that case, if there was something else after the last storm, with the last name to accommodate a storm, then we would pivot to the supplemental list that was developed back in 2021. And in terms of the systems this year, there are many notable hurricanes. Beryl, for example, the easternmost hurricane to form in the month of June, and the earliest Category 5 hurricane in recorded history. And there were other systems later in the year, such as Helene, Milton, which became one of the most powerful hurricanes on record, especially in terms of the minimum central pressure. And there were other systems as well that brought their impacts. Overall, there's been billions of dollars in damages. Hundreds of people lost their lives. And I mean, with the predictions, initially expecting that, hey, this would be a very active season, we definitely saw that. Many places were spared. Other places got hit over and over again. For example, Florida. So, yeah, it was a pretty active hurricane season. And fortunately, it wasn't as bad as what some agencies thought it would be, up to 25 named storms. And the reason for such, enormous number of storms expected was because of the very warm surface waters. Very warm, anomalously warm waters that were persistent and still are persistent. Let's look at the graphic even now. These orange and red spots indicate to the above average surface water. So it's been very warm across the Atlantic, and that was one of the primary reasons many of us anticipated that, hey, this is going to be an active season. We could see some nasty storms this year, and that came true in some sense. So yes, unfortunately, I mean, a lot of persons lost their lives. There's been a lot of damage, and that's just one of the unfortunate realities of the world we live in. But, fortunately, the 2024 season has officially concluded. And as I had mentioned in previous videos as well, this doesn't mean there will be nothing else after November 30th. We've had storms in December, January, February, March, April, and May. So it's definitely not out of the picture, especially with those warm waters still out there. But of course, that's not the only factor that results in tropical development. Because if it was, trust me, there would have been a lot more storms this year. So yes, the season has officially concluded, and it's the festive season, as I mentioned at the start of the video. But of course, we will have these times where there are these troughs moving by, these frontal systems, which will greatly influence the weather, bring in impacts. And of course, that's why my channel will still be active in the off season to give you the updates in regards to that, as well as anything else of note, such as those earthquakes. From time to time, we get these moderate shakens in the Caribbean. So that's definitely something I'll be covering as well whenever they do happen. But yeah, this is essentially what I wanted to share with you in this update video, guys. So I do hope you found it to be quite informative. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I have the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.